like 2 weeks before they came out with a patch for it. Did that happen on the 360?
Probably not for
Hell, did it even
BioShock.
happen on the PS3?
Probably not.
It didn't, because they have one set, even though they make even though the developers, ATI, AMD, Intel,
So
NVIDIA,
you're saying games don't come out broken on the consoles? Is that what you're saying? They don't have broken versions of games?
No, they
on the
have
consoles?
bugs and they have issues, but they're
the
never,
same as the PC, right?
not as often, and you know it, not as often.
Not as often. That's
And
why.
the game is
That's why games on the that's why games on the consoles have to have patches every other week, right? Because it's not that often.
Yeah, but how many times do you get patches and don't even notice anything wrong with the game? And how long do those patches take to install? 2 seconds?
It depends on some people's connections. Some patches are 200. Some patches are 200 megabytes. Some patches are 200 megabytes, 30 megabytes. It all depends on the patch.
Yeah, but you know, especially on the 360, those patches are so small, so small. And then on top,
you know why that is? That's because Microsoft. That's because Microsoft has a cap on how big the patch file can be, which is why you don't get as many fixes in your patches.
But here's the thing, okay? How many times when a new game comes out for the PC that you have to go to ATI or NVIDIA's site, get that new driver, and it makes that small handful of games run okay. But then when you go back to play something older, those games run screwed up, and you have to actually uninstall your current driver and then go back to your original one.
I've never had to do that.
That's insane. It happens all the time.
I've never had to do that. It may happen for you because I've heard your problems with the PC and it just sounds insane. I don't want to hear about you and your PC problems because what you told me about your HP.
But you're making like I'm talking about the same piece of hardware. I'm talking about a different. It was a totally different.
Even your new PC is giving you problems.
That happened to me when I had the NVIDIA, and I had an 8-bit motherboard with a dual-core processor. And now something different happens with my new setup. So it's totally different hardware. So it can't be.
It's a
hardware, especially when all the firmware is updated.
It's a self-fail. It's a self-fail. It's not.
How is it a self-fail?
It's not PC Gaming's fault. It's not the game's fault. It's a self-fail.
But those do you think that
this
someone
right
who is
here,
knowledge, do you
this
think that
thing
someone
right
else...
here. Let me show you this. This can run Quake just fine.
I'm sure it can.
Windows 98.
I'm sure it can.
Look how dumb. I can't even recognize these parts.
Now. Sure, of course it can.
I can't even recognize the
hardware
parts
too that it was meant for.
I can't recognize the parts. And this runs better. It runs the game better than your new PC that's fully upgraded.
Mm-hmm. And I can also run Half-Life from 1998.
And come on, bro.
Half-Life from 1998. What's the difference?
This is getting ridiculous.
It's called compatibility issues, man. There's variances with software and hardware. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with the hardware or someone's an idiot because something's not working. What happens if I gave you that copy of Half-Life and that didn't run? Would I say that it's a self-fail? No, shit happens. There's so many different variables with computers with the hardware.
I wouldn't have a problem.
You don't know that. And I'm sure you have other problems, but you won't admit to them right now because that would blow up your whole case.
I haven't had any problems running my games. I haven't.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if the whole world didn't have problems running games like you did, then PCs would be outselling the Wii, PS3, and 360 combined. This is coming from a person, like I said, I enjoy PC gaming. I really do. And, I see the pain that other people deal. Like, for example, man, and this is going off subject a little bit, like, a lot of people saying, oh, if you're not into PC gaming, you're casual. That's so not true. Like, and when I work in, like I said, I worked in retail, and I hope I never have to again. How many people come in who were like, oh man, I was up playing Halo for 8 hours and I ripped my headset out, and they live for gaming, but they don't want to deal with whatever stress goes behind it. You have to understand, man, there's people out there who don't even know how to use a fucking Phillips wrench screwdriver.
Stress.
Phillips head.
So I guess all these people that are watching this Ustream on their PCs and Macs won't game on it because it's too complicated. Because just like Firefox, they'll have to double click the Unreal Tournament icon to run their game.
Yeah, but you're dealing with a certain audience right here, though. You know.
Yeah, yeah, gamers. Yeah.
Yeah, you're dealing with gamers who are mostly probably PC gamers in this room.
No, there's everyone
when
here
I
has
had to
PCs
sit there and
consoles.
suffer through Crytek's BS servers.
What you said earlier was that the consoles
to download.
What you said earlier was that the consoles were for lazy gamers. That's basically what you said earlier. For those who don't, you said for those who don't want to think. That's what you said. For those who don't want to think, that's what you said.
So you're saying someone who is a doctor or a lawyer who works 12 hours a day, who just wants to come home, pop a disc in because they had a stressful day, is lazy? Because they don't have an interest in sitting there and diagnosing things?
So you have to diagnose things when you have your games running?
Not all the time, but definitely a hell of a lot more than a console. And you know it.
No,
I'm
sorry, bro. I hear that kind of stuff all the time from console gamers. How I don't feel like messing with settings and everything. I'm like, your game is gonna go straight for the recommended settings, and it'll just run that way, and you don't have to touch the settings of your game.
Do you think an 18-year-old frat guy who's sitting there at college is gonna want, in most cases, is gonna want to sit there and have to run benchmarks to make sure that he has the proper settings for his game? Do you really think
benchmarks?
That? And you know,
if you have to run benchmarks, you probably have a very old PC. I don't ever have to run benchmarks. I never have. I never needed it.
You don't. Why would you not run benchmarks even if you have an up-to-date PC?
Because I know my PC can chew up anything the gaming industry spits out right now.
And so can mine. But you still run them because you want to see what it can do, or what you think it needs to do.
I play games, not benchmarks. I don't need benchmarks.
Benchmarks are meant to make sure the game can run in any situation smoothly. Why would you not run a benchmark?
I don't need them. I don't run them.
Man, you are a better man than me. That's interesting.
Probably just a better PC owner, most likely.
Then I guess they shouldn't make benchmarks. Then you're right. We don't need them. Minus that every game almost has them on the consoles. Listen to me, on the PC. Every game, even like Devil May Cry, which basically doesn't need one. I mean, Jesus Christ, has one.
I'm sure they run them in the background to determine what's the recommended settings, but I don't run the benchmarks.
Because Punkbuster has an issue with it. Bought the game to play it online on my PC. Can't do it. Nothing I could do. Talk to support through Steam. Nothing. Can't get it to run because of Punkbuster. Online anyway. The single player one's great. Another issue, do you have to deal with Punkbuster? Or even if you do, I think PS3 you do. When you have Punkbuster on, or you play games on a console, you got to deal with issues with Punkbuster?
No.
Yes, I know that the Call of Duty Black Ops is having issues on the PS3 right now, but once again, let's draw straws, or let's make a tally and see how many times you have issues on your console as compared to your PC. I guarantee you that the consoles have a lot less.
Let's go.
Guarantee you.
And these problems for the PC won't be self-fails, will they?
No, they won't.
Okay.
But even if they were self-fails, and I'm tech savvy, what about someone who's not tech savvy?
You're tech savvy, but can't get your PC to run Quake.
Oh, here we go again. Yeah, I can't get my PC to run Quake. Here we go. Yeah. And you're gonna, man, you're good. But yeah, that's the thing. Who else is gonna want to deal with that? So I'm gonna take my sub HD copy of Black Ops or sub HD copy of Modern Warfare, plug it into my console because I know I'll be able to put on a headset, or not put on a headset because if I want to have a less stressful day, and go online and play.
Let me see how many people are playing Modern Warfare on Steam with no problems at the moment.
Call of Duty 4, not Modern Warfare 2, that ran fine. because that doesn't use Punk Buster. And I use Punk Buster on other games, and it works okay with them.
Oh, everybody's playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, there's only about 1,000 people online right now.
1,000 out of them. How many millions of people own it on the PC? Yes, it's an older game. I will give you that. Man, you're going to tell me that none of those other people, those self-failers out there, that, you know, the millions of people that own it, aren't having problems?
I'm sure a lot of people aren't playing.
It's still a pretty popular game, man.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people aren't playing Modern Warfare because there's a lot of sales going on right now.
Come on, man. The Modern Warfare series is one of the most popular games ever.
Maybe to frag heads on the consoles.
All right, man. It's sold millions upon millions of copies. No one plays it. Yeah. No, but yeah, there's still probably more people playing that than playing other games online on Steam right now. I'll tell you that.
There's about 73,000 people playing Counter-Strike Source.
There you go.
More than the people playing Black Ops.
You kind of answering your own question there, unless I heard you wrong.
No. Counter-Strike is not a frag-heady game. It's not a simple game. It's a game of skill. And that's why it's more popular than Black Ops.
It's a game of hacks and mods. I've played friggin' Counter-Strike before. It's a game of hacks and mods. That's the other problem with PCs that you just brought up, man. Playing games online.
Oh, yeah, because there are no hacks on the consoles, right?
Much less than on the PC.
You get to see people going prestige on freaking Call of Duty the very first few couple days that the game comes out. No hacks whatsoever. I didn't see anyone getting dragged out of their Call of Duty parties on the 360 version into hacked game rooms. Come on. There are ultra hackers on the freaking consoles.
Yeah, but it's much more limited than what you could do on the PC, man. You could recode the damn games on the PC if you want to.
Didn't a certain company just ban a million Xboxes just last year for those who hacked and had modded 360s?
Yeah, to play games. It's not to reprogram the game so you could do bullshit on them. You did it so you could get free copied games. Totally different story.
These are also people that hack their 360s to hack games online as well. These people played their games online.
Yeah, but dude, there's a lot more effort involved to do it on a console that you need to totally switch around than it is on a PC.
Evidently not. Evidently, it only takes a day to get prestige, so these people must have these things ready before the game even comes out. They must have a game, well, they must have a review copy first. I guess they're getting it before everybody else. If you want to talk about hackers and cheaters, and you want to say that that's a problem on the PC, and you ignore it on the consoles, you gotta get real. You gotta.
I don't ignore it on the consoles, but I just know it's much more few and far between. It's much more few and far between. You also can't. I mean, you can do the Wii, but you can't mod the PS3 at least fully yet.
But there's even hackers on the PS3 version of games as well. There's hackers on all the platforms. There's cheaters on all the platforms.
Yeah, but like I said, on the consoles, it is combine it together compared to what's on the PC. Like, I can't even get into Counter-Strike because it's like friggin' Greek, man.
Do you have Counter-Strike on Steam?
Yes, I do.
Have you played it on Steam?
Yes.
Then you're telling me there are hackers on there. These people who have been playing this game for the longest. You know, if you haven't grown up on Counter-Strike, I really don't expect you to really win, because those people on there are beastly. I don't think you were hacked. I think you were merely just owned pretty hard.
Okay, maybe that's that one I'll give you. Maybe that is it. But from the experiences that I've had, PCs, it's just more. I mean, obviously, like the biggest thing I play on PC actually is Left 4 Dead, more so than anything else in terms of what I play online. But I have a much more smooth experience when I play on the consoles, and I believe that most people here can say the same.
So the console version of Left 4 Dead is better?
That one I will give you.